I need you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because what I found 7 floors beneath Las Vegas shouldn't exist. There's a man down there who was shot in the head and survived. Another who fought off an attacker with a machete using nothing but a Molotov cocktail. And a woman named Jay who swears something lives in the deepest tunnels. Something that isn't human. She described it as 6 foot, 5, impossibly thin, with no arms or legs, blacker than the darkness itself. And I believe her, because after spending 12 hours in 200 miles of flood tunnels beneath the Las Vegas Strip, I heard things that can't be explained. I saw things that shouldn't be possible. And 3 weeks after filming this, one of the people I interviewed was found dead in those same tunnels. 1,500 people live down there. Some haven't seen sunlight in over a decade. Some have turned gray from the darkness, and according to the ones who have been there longest, some have become something else entirely. The city above makes $15 billion a year. The city below, it's where people go to disappear, or to be taken by whatever hunts in that darkness. I'm about to show you a world that exists underneath one of the most famous cities on Earth. And I'm warning you now, after you see this, you'll never walk on the Las Vegas Strip the same way again. Before we go down, hit that subscribe button. This channel exists to document the darkest, most forbidden places and stories in the world. And this is one of the worst I've ever seen. Alright, let's descend. This is Rob. 5 years ago, he lived in these tunnels. He survived things down there that would break most people. Without him, we can't go in. The tunnel system is a maze. One wrong turn and you're lost forever. And according to Rob, there are sections where even he won't go anymore. Places where people have entered and never come back out. The entrance is just ahead. Once we go through, we're entering a world that operates by different rules. Are you ready? The storm drain entrance looks ordinary from the street. Tourists walk past it every day without a second glance. But Rob pulls aside the metal bars, and immediately everything changes. The temperature drops 15 degrees, the smell hits me, mold, sewage, decay, and something else I can't identify. Rob, before we go in, tell me the truth. What's the worst thing you've ever seen down here? He stops walking. When he speaks, his voice is different. Haunted. I lost 2 of my best friends in a flood 5 years ago. The water rose 8 feet in less than 10 minutes. I heard them screaming my name, begging for help, but I couldn't reach them. The current was too strong. When the water finally receded, we found their bodies 3 miles down the tunnel system. They'd been smashed against the walls, over and over, until he doesn't finish. He doesn't need to. We're walking now, our flashlights barely penetrating the darkness ahead. The tunnel is 8 feet tall here, but Rob warns me it gets much smaller as we go deeper. 7 floors down, the passages are so narrow you have to crawl on your stomach. There are approximately 200 miles of tunnels under Las Vegas. Rob explains. The city built them to prevent flooding on the streets, but over the years people started living in them, and once you're down here long enough, something happens to you. The darkness changes the way you think, the way you see things. Some people can't handle it. They lose their minds, others. They adapt, but what they adapt into isn't quite human anymore. We reach the first intersection. 3 tunnels branch off into absolute blackness. Without Rob, I'd have no idea which way to go. Then we hear it. A voice echoing from somewhere deep in the tunnel system. It sounds like it's calling a name, but the acoustics distort it so badly I can't make out the words. Is someone there? I call out. The voice stops immediately. Total silence. And somehow, the silence is worse than the voice. That happens a lot down here. Rob says quietly. You hear voices calling, footsteps when nobody's walking, sounds that don't make sense. After a while, you stop investigating. Because sometimes, when you go looking for the source, you find something you wish you hadn't. We find Nate camping near the entrance zone. He's been down here 3 years but refuses to go deeper than this first level. Why won't you go further in? I ask. His answer chills me. Because of what's down there, man. These tunnels go 7 floors down, 7 levels of darkness, and the deeper you go, the weirder it gets. There are service rooms branching off the main tunnels, rooms that were never meant for people, and some of those rooms are occupied now. By what? I don't know, but I've heard things coming from them, sounds that aren't human. What kind of sounds? Scratching, breathing that's too slow, too deep, and once I heard something that sounded like laughing, but wrong. Like someone trying to remember how to laugh, but getting it all backwards. Nate tells me there are people in the deep sections who haven't seen daylight in years, and their bodies have started to change. They turn gray. Their skin loses all color, like they're becoming part of the darkness, and their eyes start to reflect light like animals. I've seen it myself. Shine a flashlight at someone who's been down there too long, and their eyes glow back at you. It's not natural. It's not right. I ask him if he's ever been to the 7th floor. Hell no. Nobody goes to the 7th floor. There are stories about what's down there, but nobody who's gone that deep has ever come back to tell us if the stories are true. The only thing we know for sure is that sometimes, when it's very quiet, you can hear sounds coming up from the deepest levels, and whatever's making those sounds, it's big. Before we leave, Nate gives us one final warning. Watch each other's backs down there, because down here, you're not just dealing with dangerous people. You're dealing with something else. Something that's been living in this darkness a lot longer than any of us. We walk deeper into the system. The tunnel opens up to a wider section, and Rob tells me to look up. Through a metal grate, I see lights. Bright, artificial casino lights. We're directly under the Las Vegas Strip. The sound of traffic is muffled but constant. Thousands of cars driving over our heads, completely unaware of what exists beneath them. It's surreal. 2 worlds occupying the same space, one completely invisible to the other. We keep walking and Rob stops at another grate. Look. I shine my flashlight up. Through the metal bars I see the unmistakable architecture of Caesar's Palace, one of the most expensive hotels in America. People up there are paying $500 to $1,000 per night for luxury suites, and we're standing in sewage directly underneath them. The casinos make over $15 billion a year, Rob says. And 7 feet below their foundations, people are dying. Nobody connects those two realities, but they're the same reality. The money flows up there because it's extracted from people. And when those people are used up and broken, they end up down here. But then, Rob tells me something that makes my blood run cold. About 10 years ago, a group of urban explorers found something on the 7th floor. They never told authorities what it was. They just sealed off that section and never went back. But word spreads down here. And the word is that there's something on the 7th floor that was there before the tunnels were built. Something ancient, and it's still there waiting in the dark. Do you believe that? I ask. I've heard things I can't explain, he says. And I've seen people go into the deep sections and come back different, changed, so yeah, I believe something's down there. I just don't know what. We find Toby in a section decorated with salvaged materials. His camp is elaborate. Walls made from plywood, a mattress, cooking equipment. But there are weapons here too. A baseball bat, knives. He's prepared for violence. Toby has scars all over his arms and face. This is someone who's fought to survive. 6 years I've been down here. He tells me, and I'll tell you something nobody wants to admit. The people aren't the scariest thing in these tunnels anymore. What do you mean? 3 months ago I was attacked. 3 guys with a machete. One of them was trying to kill me over this spot. I survived by making a Molotov cocktail and throwing it at them when they came back. But here's the thing. While we were fighting, something was watching us. I could feel it. And when the fight was over and they ran off, I saw it. Just for a second. A shadow, but darker than the darkness around it. Tall, too tall, and it moved in a way that wasn't natural. What did you do? I got the hell out of that section. Stayed near the entrance for a week. But eventually, you have to go back. You have to get supplies, water, food, and every time I go deeper, I feel like I'm being watched, like something's following me, staying just outside the range of my flashlight. Toby shows me something on the wall, scratches, deep gouges in the concrete. I didn't make those. Nobody I know made those. They showed up about a month ago, and they're spreading. Every week, there are more of them going deeper into the tunnel system. I examine the scratches. They're too deep to have been made by human hands, and the pattern is strange. 4 parallel lines, each about an inch apart. What could make marks like this? I ask. Toby shakes his head. I don't want to know. Tony has been down here 6 years. His camp is massive, filled with belongings he's accumulated. But what catches my attention is his cat. A small tabby with patchy fur and visible burn scars. What happened to her? I ask. Someone started a fire 2 months ago. Just a cruel bastard who wanted to hurt people. The fire didn't get me, but it nearly killed her. She was burned from nose to tail, 3rd-degree burns. I didn't think she'd survive, but she did. She's tougher than most people down here. The cat is Tony's only companion in this underground world. But Tony tells me something that changes the entire conversation. You asked about the fire, but that's not the strangest thing that's happened lately. Have you heard about the gray people? Nate mentioned something about people turning gray. It's real, I've seen it. There are people in the deep sections who haven't seen sunlight in years, some for over a decade, and their skin has lost all pigmentation. They're not just pale, they're gray, ash gray, and they move different, slower, like they're conserving energy. Some of them don't talk anymore, they just watch you with these empty eyes. Why don't they leave, come back to the surface? Tony looks at me like I've asked something obvious. Because they can't. The sunlight hurts them now. I've seen one try to come up to the entrance during the day. The moment the sun hit his skin, he screamed and ran back into the darkness. It's like they've adapted to living down here, and now they can't survive anywhere else. How many gray people are there? Nobody knows. They stay on the lower floors, but their numbers are growing. Every year, a few more people who go deep and never come back up. And then months later, you see them again, but they're not the same. They're gray. They're silent, and they're watching. Always watching. We move into a section where water is constantly dripping from the ceiling. Mineral deposits have formed stalactites, proof that water has been flowing through here for decades. The ground is perpetually wet, and everything smells like mold and decay. Beverly has been here 8 years. When I ask her about the floods, her face goes pale. I've been caught in 2 floods. The second one, I genuinely thought I was going to die. The water comes so fast, you hear it first, this roar getting louder and louder, and then you see it. A wall of water carrying debris, trash, bodies sometimes. You have maybe 10 minutes to get to higher ground, or an exit, that's it. She shows me marks on the wall 8 feet up. That's how high the water got. Anyone standing here drowned. We lost 7 people that time. Some of the bodies were never found. They're still down here somewhere, in the deep sections where the water pools. We walk further and find a memorial spray painted on the wall. Multiple names, dates, crude crosses. Who are these people? I ask. People who died down here, floods, overdoses, violence. This wall is our cemetery. Nobody knows their real names. Nobody on the surface is looking for them, so we remember them this way. One name catches my eye, Phil. The date is recent. 3 weeks ago. Who was Phil? I ask. Beverly's eyes water. Phil was a good man. Used to own a house, had a retirement fund. Life just broke him down until he ended up here. He'd been down here 8 years. Survived 3 floods. Survived infections, attacks, everything. And then 3 weeks ago, he just died. Natural causes, maybe. Or maybe he just gave up. We found him in his tent. He looked peaceful, at least. Rob speaks up. Phil was one of the people I interviewed for this documentary. He talked about how the police radios don't work down here, how the tunnels attract people running from the law, and he talked about the sounds from the deep floors. He said he heard something on the 7th floor once. Something moving through water, something big. Did he ever go down there? I ask. No, Rob says quietly, but he said whatever's down there, it's been there a long time, long before the tunnels were built, and it's still there, waiting. We enter a darker section where the camps are more desperate. The walls are covered in graffiti, most of it warnings. Stay out. Not safe. Turn back. We meet a man who won't give his name. He has a long scar across his forehead and one eye that doesn't focus properly. What happened to you? I ask. Got shot in the head with a .45, 3 years ago. Don't remember most of it. Woke up in a hospital with no ID, no memory of how I got there. They patched me up and released me, and I came right back down here. Because where else was I gonna go? The casual way he talks about being shot in the head is disturbing, but it gets worse. Have you ever seen someone die down here? I ask. He nods. Yeah, I was in my tent one night and heard someone come into the tunnel. Then 2 gunshots. Bang, bang. I came out and there was a guy standing in front of me with a white shirt turning red. He'd been shot in the back and neck. He looked at me, tried to say something, and just dropped. Dead. Who shot him? His brother. They were arguing over money. His own brother shot him and left him to die in a tunnel. And you know what we did? Nothing. We moved the body to a side passage and kept living. Because that's how it works down here. Death is just part of the environment. But then he tells me something that makes my skin crawl. That was 2 years ago. But about 6 months after he died, people started seeing him. The guy who got shot, walking through the tunnels at night. Same white shirt, same bullet wounds, just walking, looking for something. I've seen him twice myself. He doesn't talk, doesn't react if you call out to him. He just walks past like you're not there. You're saying you've seen a ghost down here? I'm saying I've seen something that looks like the man who died. Whether that's a ghost or something else wearing his face, I don't know. But I'm not the only one who's seen him. At least a dozen people have reported the same thing. A man in a bloody white shirt, walking through the darkness, searching for something he'll never find. We've been underground for hours now, and the psychological toll is evident. Every shadow looks like it's moving. Every sound seems loaded with meaning. And then we find Jay's section, and everything changes. The walls here are covered in art, paintings, murals, intricate designs that must have taken months to create. It's beautiful and deeply unsettling at the same time. Jay emerges from the darkness. She's younger than most people we've met, maybe early 30s. But her eyes look ancient. How long have you been down here? I ask. 8 or 9 years. I stopped counting after the first 5. What's the worst thing that's happened to you down here? She doesn't hesitate. The hauntings, the thing that lives in the deep sections, I've seen it multiple times and I'm not crazy. I'm not on drugs. I know what I saw. Describe it to me. It looks like a man, but it's not. It's probably 6'5", extremely thin. It has a pointed nose, but no arms or legs that I can see, and it's black, not dark. Black, blacker than the darkness around it. When it's pitch black and you can't see your hand in front of your face, you can still see this thing because it's darker than dark. What does it do? It watches, it follows, it moves things. I'll put something down, turn around, and it's gone. Disappeared. And I'll find it later in a completely different part of my camp. It mimics voices too. I hear people calling my name from deep in the tunnel. But when I go look, there's nobody there. Just empty darkness. Jay tells me the entity can drop the temperature by 20 degrees in seconds. She's measured it with a thermometer, and it can move through solid walls. She's seen it pass through concrete like it's not even there. The worst part is the feeling. She says, when it's around, you feel this overwhelming dread. Like something terrible is about to happen. Like you're being hunted by something that's patient enough to wait forever. And the deeper you go in the tunnels, the stronger that feeling gets. Have you been to the 7th floor? I ask, once, only once, and I'll never go back. What's down there? Jay's face goes pale. Water, lots of water. It pools on the 7th floor because it has nowhere else to drain. And in that water there are things. I saw shapes moving under the surface, big shapes, and I heard breathing, not human breathing. Something slower, deeper, like whatever's down there has lungs the size of barrels. I left, I ran, and I've had nightmares about it ever since. Rob speaks up. She's not the only one who's mentioned the 7th floor. Every long-term resident down here has heard the stories. Something lives in the flooded sections. Something that was here before the tunnels. Maybe it's always been under Las Vegas, and when they built this system, they accidentally gave it access to the entire city. Do you believe that? I ask. After 5 years down here, I believe a lot of things I never would have believed before. Rob says. This place changes you, opens your mind to possibilities you dismissed before. And one of those possibilities is that we're not alone down here. We never were. We push into the deepest section we've visited yet. The air here is thick, hard to breathe. There are needles everywhere, evidence of heavy drug use. But there's something else. A smell, fresh decay. Rob stops suddenly. Someone died here recently, very recently. How do you know? I can smell it. And look. Drag marks. Someone moved a body within the last day or two. We find scattered belongings, a dirty blanket, a backpack with its contents spilled. And then we find a man sitting against the wall, staring at nothing. Rob approaches him carefully. Hey man, you okay? You need help? The man doesn't respond. He's high on something, barely conscious. Rob checks his pulse. Still alive, but barely. This is how it happens. Rob says quietly. People come down here to escape, to hide, to use. And slowly the darkness takes them. They overdose, they get sick, they give up. And they die in these tunnels. And sometimes nobody finds them for weeks. We try to help the man, but he waves us away. He doesn't want help. Or maybe he's beyond help. Either way, we leave him there, knowing that the next time someone comes through this section, he might not be alive anymore. As we're leaving, I hear something. A sound coming from deeper in the tunnel. It sounds like breathing. Slow, rhythmic breathing. But there's no one there. Did you hear that? I ask. Rob nods. We need to leave now. When you hear breathing in an empty tunnel, you don't investigate. You run. We start walking faster, back toward the entrance. And as we're walking, I swear I hear footsteps behind us, matching our pace. But every time I turn around, there's nothing but darkness. We emerge from the storm drain after 12 hours underground. The Las Vegas heat hits me like a physical blow. My eyes can barely handle the sunlight after so long in darkness. We're standing on a normal street corner, cars driving past, tourists walking by with shopping bags. A couple walks past us laughing, clearly drunk, having the time of their lives. They have no idea what exists 20 feet below them. No idea that 1,500 people are living in conditions they couldn't imagine. No idea that something else might be down there too. Something that's been there much longer than any of them. I look back at the storm drain entrance. From the street, it's easy to ignore. Just another piece of infrastructure. But now I know what's behind it. Rob, you survived 5 years down there. How did you not lose your mind? He's quiet for a long time. Who says I didn't? I still have nightmares about the things I saw, the sounds I heard, the feeling of being watched by something I couldn't see. Some nights I wake up convinced I'm still down there, and it takes me minutes to remember I'm not. Do you think the stories are true? The gray people, the entity on the 7th floor? I think something is down there. Whether it's supernatural or just the result of extreme isolation and darkness, I don't know. But I've seen things I can't explain, and I've talked to enough people who have seen the same things that I can't dismiss it as hallucination or mental illness. Whatever's down there, it's real in some form. 3 weeks after filming this, Phil died in those tunnels. 1 month after filming, Jay stopped responding to messages. 2 months after filming, Rob told me he's been hearing his name called from storm drains around the city. He hasn't gone back down, but he says the tunnels haven't forgotten him. And me. I still have nightmares about that breathing sound in the empty tunnel. About the footsteps that matched our pace. About the shadow that's darker than darkness. Because here's what I know for certain. There are 1,500 people living under Las Vegas right now. Some of them are turning gray. Some of them are seeing things that shouldn't exist. And some of them are never coming back up. The city doesn't care. The tourists don't know. And the thing in the darkness, it's patient. It's been there for a long time. And it will be there long after all of us are gone. If you want to help the people in those tunnels, research organizations that work underground. But understand something. Not everyone down there wants to be saved. Some of them have been in the darkness so long, they've become part of it. And if you're ever in Las Vegas, and you're walking on Strip late at night, and you pass a storm drain, and you hear something calling your name from the darkness below, keep walking, don't look, don't respond, because once the darkness knows you, it never forgets. There are some places humans weren't meant to go, and what lives 7 floors beneath. Las Vegas has been waiting in the dark for a very long time, waiting for people to wander too deep, waiting to claim those who the world has already forgotten. The tunnels are still there, the people are still down there, and so is whatever else lives in that eternal night. Subscribe if you dare to see more places like this. And remember, not everything that lives in the dark is human.